Hello and welcome people, Dark Forest Shadows here, and today I'm just out going to show you the latest project that I've been working on, the Bear Grylls survival hatchet. A lot of the Bear Grylls stuff, some would argue he's a brilliant bloke, we've all had experiences as such. Yes, he's extreme, however I felt that they could do a lot more with the survival hatchet, because basically all they've given you is a cold steel hatchet with a pathetic plastic handle. Now this is a new purchase, something I've had my eye on. I've lost my Fisker's sport axe, which is a pain in the ass. Not going into that. I'm here today to show you what I've been working on. It's not a bad hatchet. The main reason that I did go for the Bear Grylls is due to the weight, and also I can do a lot more modifications to this to become more adaptable to what my needs are. So I'm just going to basically whip through this very quickly for you and not babble too much as usual. First up, what I've done, I've completely cut off the crappy plastic handle. It's pointless in my eyes, and replaced it with what you're looking at is quite a few things, turning it into more of a survival use item. Now first up, I've incorporated bamboo next to the cold steel handle, so I'm going to strip away. Now I was going to put a finicky button compass on the end to make it sort of Rambo knife style, but I thought that was a bit pathetic. The bamboo serves two purposes mainly. Well, there's no end. I guess if you was in a river you could use it as a straw for avoiding detection, so to speak, under the water. However, this is serving a purpose of possibly fire starting. Now the dilemma I have, and also because of the length, is not getting enough items in there. Now you can see here I've got a sharpening rod which coincides with the axe itself, which is excellent for keeping and maintaining the blade, and also it packs into that bamboo very tightly. And of course I could cord onto the existing cord so it's just dangling, so it's not lost. However, it does pack in. Also I could use the fire steel rod, wedge that in again on the cord, but it will only go so far up the shaft, which you'll see in a minute. The bamboo I can use for fire lighting if need be, and anyone that wants to be finicky, I could in fact use alder, strip out the spongy internal side of the stick instead of the bamboo, because it's not necessarily native to the UK. So I'm just going to crack on with this. What I've got is a lot of paracord, and the reason being, as you saw in the EDC survival keychain, I'd done a new video with the slingshot. Now Adam Outdoors, ANF I think his channel is, suggested about the piece of leather instead of the birch bark. That was just a temporary play around as such, so I've taken that on board, Adam, and thanks. It's not on this axe at the minute because it's still a prototype and I'm still working. I'm just giving you some ideas of where I'm up to. However, you can see there the elastic of the slingshot, it will still be operational. Just undo this quickly. It's a pain in the ass. I haven't completely finished the project, and I'm not going to go into too much detail as such, but once it's finished it will be sealed. So basically this here is the elastic. So with the cords I'm able to make a slingshot which was all neatly wrapped around the handle, which gave it extra grip. Onto this is going to be a pain unless I whip out a blade very quickly, so just bear with me 1 second. Ill prepared as usual. Now this is a basic twine don't know if you're getting this. Excellent for a wick of a candle. So I'm just going to rip this off. It's a bit bodgy with the masking tape. Yes, it will be duct tape as such. Like I said, it's a prototype, so I'm just going to rip all this off for you, just to give you the basic rundown of what I've done, because I won't be doing this again. This is a one-hit wonder, but it will be opening people's eyes up. Now, the Fisker's axe was a hollow fiberglass tube, and I was looking into making a survival tube as such. However, like I said, it's gone. Let's cut this off. And again, depending on how much you want to spend on the paracord, all this will be properly done in my eyes and sealed. Just stuck a little mirror on there. This is going to be a last ditch if all else fails, so to speak. Pain in the ass, I apologise for unwrapping everything. Again, with what Adam spoke of with regards to the lever, I've already worked on that, and I should have it on the video for you. I'm sorry about that. However, the crazy life I lead, I'm sure you'll understand. A piece of leather will fit nicely on the shaft. I've wrapped far too much of this around, but I like to keep it all packed. I've actually used the axe now, Hatchet. It performs good, and again with the cord you can keep packing it out as far as you need to with regards to comfort for your hand for chopping. Basically this top end, I've just started the basic foundations. Sorry about that, we're getting there, so I'm not going to babble too much, or else I'll end up going round in circles. Right, so this is off as such. Right, so this is what we're left with. Here I've incorporated 4 fishing hooks and a good 30-40 meters of fishing line are wrapped around this piece. Then I have the snare wire, I'd say about 15 meters, enough to get going as such. I know I've got to unwrap the handle, so to speak, and all that, but if needs be must. Again, this side here, you see the ridge there, I could pack some sewing needles in there with some thread. Also, I'm looking at the shop weights for the fishing line. Again, a float you can improvise, and again the survival situation probably isn't going to happen, people, but better safe than sorry. Now in here I've just chucked in the little signalling mirror. These are more gimmicks, but you never know in the longer term. A small little hacksaw blade. These are just examples. I'm not getting drawn into what should and shouldn't. It's just good fun to keep you busy. However, this will become my main hatchet axe out in the field. Here is the bamboo. I'll just show you what I'd done. Oh yeah, I did include some lead shot there for the fishing. Now there's a lot of options with this actual hatchet, and I don't know what it is with Gerber and especially Bear Grylls. You would have thought they'd think of more in-depth concepts. Now as far as I'm concerned, I'm not breaching copyrights and all this, because I purchased this. I'm free to do whatever I choose to do. But basically I ground out around the shaft so that the bamboo would fit in. Now I could extend it by chopping this piece off here to make a longer shaft, and then possibly I may be able to get the sharpening rod and the fire steel in there, which would be brilliant. The reason I chose this is because it's one whole piece of steel. It's not going to be compromised in any way, shape or form, and I think it's a good little hatchet, to be honest. as long as you keep it sharp. Now I just don't see the point in walking around with a plastic handle with no purposes whatsoever, but because of my boredom as such, and being out in the field and using stuff day in day out, you always expand your mind into various levels of the outdoor equipment. One good point on this piece of steel is the 2 drilled holes. Now I was looking at incorporating a folding saw into the handle. However, I just went with the simple idea of the bamboo as a tube, so I can just keep the ferro rod or sharpening steel in there. It's compact, tight, and it serves a purpose. Now I know you could go into the pouch side of things, where you could incorporate a piece of webbing on there. I'm not into brands as such. I pay for what you get. However, they could actually again consider looking at the pouches. This is another thing I'm going to give you a heads up on. Whether I'll get round to it is completely do away with this pouch. However, all these studs here have given me an idea of why, when they make a pouch, a lot of people carry the little trowels for digging. Now if you incorporated a good piece of steel on both edges of this, then you would essentially have a digging trowel as well. It's just another thought, whether I'll get round to that because I'm so busy. However, I thought I'd babble and dribble on about this crazy concept. It's a good piece of kit, and also with the slingshot I could cover this with the paracord, or I'm quite happy leaving it exposed for like a bit of grip. Now I know if your hands get wet it may become a bit slippy. However, I'm finding it's a nice grip. It gives you a bit of flexibility within the handle. And then again, a further project I'm looking at now is incorporating possibly this so it slots onto an ice axe, so I can keep the ice axe as one with this, which could adapt and extend the handle a lot more. There's no end of modifications that we can do out there. It's just whether you've got the time and how far you want to advance. But I think these bigger companies that are selling these gimmicks, so to speak, all it is a basic plastic handle, and it's like, why call it a survival item? Yes, you may become dependent, but the more items you can compact and incorporate into a piece of equipment, the better it is. And I, for one, would pay through the nose for a quality, compact, clinical piece of equipment. But again, it's on people's budgets as such, but I just don't understand why they just class it as survival. Until you've actually survived and had a traumatic experience, then you would start to understand. Yes, a hatchet would help, but a multi-use, multi-purpose hatchet would help you a hell of a lot more. But again, a lot of people would say go back to the primitive style of, you don't need any of these technical gadgets nowadays. Man developed through nature itself. So you've always got that argument. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up and stop babbling. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you later.